Hello everyone and welcome back to another cryptocurrency video. My name is J1 General and in today's video we will be discussing about the Bitcoin price and where I think we will be heading in the short term and in the long term, looking at some key metrics including the RSI, including the liquidations, including the crypto fear and greed index, and looking at past returns for Bitcoin within the pre-halving year, the halving year and the post-halving year. So if you like this type of content, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button as it always makes help the channel grow. And if you are a fan of cryptocurrency, I have a cryptocurrency shop where you can shop cryptocurrency products. Anything from a cryptocurrency course, price tickers, accessories, jewelry, gifts, all of that good stuff, including some very nice t-shirts. I'll leave a link in the description down below so you can get a discount off your next shop. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I believe that Bitcoin right now is stuck between a rock and a hard place. And what do I mean by that? I mean that Bitcoin is, you'd like to think it is certainly out of the bear market that we experienced in 2022. You definitely like to think that we're out the bear market. Well, of course, as price has rallied essentially 3x from its lows. But at the same time, you are not that overly bullish. You just feel like it's not a bull market just yet. One, because the halving hasn't happened. Two, because retail hasn't entered the space. And three, because Bitcoin hasn't put in a new all-time high. So where are we right now? We're currently between a rock and a hard place, between all-time highs and the cycle lows. Yeah. And I just wanna mention that Bitcoin likes to do this thing where it ranges for a while before it makes a next impulsive move to the upside or to the downside. And let me just show you a few examples of what I mean. So we had this range right here. Yeah, we had this range right here where Bitcoin was stuck in this range from the 6th of June all the way to February of 23. So almost a year where Bitcoin was ranging between 15k and 20k. Next thing you know, it pops up and then boom, off to the races. If we go back to the cycle before, the same thing happened again, and this impulsive move was to the upside, right? If we go back to the last cycle, again, clear cut, where you can see that Bitcoin likes to range before making an impulsive move. So for example, this area right here, Bitcoin was just exactly stuck in this range before making an impulsive move to the downside. And just like here in the bear market lows of last cycle, Bitcoin likes to range before making a pop and rallying to the upside. Again, you can see this range right here where Bitcoin just likes to range in a certain price range for a specific set amount of time before making an impulsive move in either direction. It happens all the time. Bitcoin has this habit of doing so. So why am I saying this? I'm saying this because we could get the same sort of thing occurring within the next few weeks, next few months. Like price action, yes, is at 42k, but 42k, the sentiment of this price about 6 weeks ago was very bullish, because 6 weeks ago we were in December and 42k in December was so bullish. I remember crypto Twitter, or crypto X I should say, everyone was so bullish. The sentiment was greed on the fear and greed index. Everyone was happy, everyone was making money. But fast forward 6 weeks later and Bitcoin is at the same price. So could we get another pause for another few weeks, another couple months, before Bitcoin then decides to make an impulsive move either to the upside or to the downside? And that is where I want to analyze price today in this video and discuss where we could be going in the short term or in the long term. So I just want to draw a couple of trend lines right here, because I believe that these trend lines will allow us to establish the sentiment and the trend within the market and allow us to see where the next impulsive move will be. So we all know about this elusive 48k level. You know, there's been so much price action around this price, even from last cycle's bull market, that it has been proven to be tough resistance so far in this mid-cycle top. I'd also like to draw a trend line at this elusive 32k level, which were the highs in 2023 right up until the point where price popped over in October 23. But the yearly highs before that were around 31, 32k, and we went around those areas in April and in June and July. So we have these two key areas right here where Bitcoin could essentially just range in this area for months. Yeah, for months. For probably until Q3 of this year. But we have these levels. Oh, what have I done there? I've got rid of the trend lines by accident, but that's fine because we can just redraw them again. So you have to essentially think that if we are in this range, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place. We also have the bull market support band. Today is Monday, so the bull market support band would have printed new prices. We are currently between, well, the bull market support band is currently between 37.9k, essentially just shy of 38k, and 38.3k. So the bull market support band is currently tightening and constricting, and it's around that 38k level. We also discussed the idea that in February of the halving year, the Bitcoin price always has this magnet towards the bull market support band. So there is a good chance that we can revisit this 38k level this month, even though there is around 24 days left. Yes, there are 29 days in February this year. This year is a leap year. If we go back to last cycle, in February of 2020, you can see that the Bitcoin price went back to the bull market support band. If we go to the cycle before that, you can see that in February of 2016, the Bitcoin price went back down to the bull market support band. And if we go back to 2012, the same thing happened again, where the price went back down to the bull market support band in the halving year. So the same thing could occur. I mean, it's not too far away when you really think about it, guys. We're currently at 42k, so it would only take us around a 10% move or so to get back down to the bull market support band, which is nothing for Bitcoin. So that could essentially occur. You'd have to think, yeah, that's the first level of support that the bulls would show before making a sort of a defensive move to support a bounce in that area for Bitcoin. But you'd have to think that the Bitcoin price wouldn't be bearish unless it went below this trend line right here. If Bitcoin came to backtest this trend line as support, then that is just normal and healthy for price action for Bitcoin. Yes, it would look scary going from 48 to 32k because that is essentially a 30 to 40% move. But in hindsight, this is a healthy correction, especially going into the post-halving year or towards the end of the halving year. If price were to go underneath this trend line, then it has a chance to backtest it as resistance. And that is when things can get very bearish for Bitcoin price. We do not want to see this. On the other hand, for Bitcoin price to become very bullish and for us to actually enter this bull market phase, Bitcoin would have to break through this trend line at around 45k and backtest 45k as support and break through 48k. It would have to break through this elusive 48k level, which is confluent with this top right here and this top right here. This 48k level is the 618 level as well, and past history has shown us that we always get rejected by the 618 level the first time, but then once we break through the 618 and backtest it as support, that is when you know we are in a bull market. So far Bitcoin has had a nasty wick to that 618 level, and it has been heavily rejected since, and we are now stuck between this rock and a hard place. If we take a look at the RSI, ladies and gentlemen, the RSI is currently at around 68.2. We know that the momentum is looking at overbought when it reaches that 70 level. The moving average is at that 70 level, but we were overbought back in December. And if I just get rid of these trend lines right here, you can see that Bitcoin did put in some sort of a bearish divergence because the RSI peaked on the 4th of December when price essentially reached 43k, and we know that the Bitcoin price did reach near just shy of 49k in January, but you can see that the RSI essentially decreased from December to January. That is what we call a bearish divergence, which is when the momentum is slowing down in the market but price is artificially rising, which could show that the price could decrease in the short to medium term. With that being said, could price go up, causing the RSI to go back higher? Yes, but the RSI would need a lot of work to do to be able to defeat this higher at around 82. Like, if the price were to go back to 82, then price would essentially have to reach 50 plus K, which is unlikely. It's likely that Bitcoin puts in a lower high, and then the RSI also puts in a lower high, which confirms the bearish divergence, which means that momentum is slowing down and lower prices could occur in the short-term future. If we take a look at the liquidations, this is on a weekly level. Let me just show you guys right here. I know my face is hiding it. My beautiful face is hiding it. The liquidations are currently building up hefty on the higher side of things. You can see that around the 44k level. A lot of liquidations are building up, so that could be something to pay attention to in the very short term. As I discussed just briefly moments ago, that Bitcoin could put in a lower high before making its way lower. If we take a look at the monthly liquidation heat map, once this loads, you will be able to see that the majority of the liquidations are currently lying on the upside, and we could even reach up to levels of 46.2k before heading back down and taking out that liquidity. But I just want to show you guys as well for future reference that if we take a look at the 3-month liquidation, we can see that, actually no, let me go to 6 months. Maybe 6 months will show it. Because there was a lot of liquidity. I saw this heat map the other day and I saw that there is a lot of liquidity around that 34k area, which is right here. You can see that there is also a large build up around that 25k area. So I'm not saying that price will definitely go to 25k. There is a good chance that price does revisit that 34k to take out the majority of that liquidity. But there is a large chunk of liquidations around that 25, 26k. So pay attention to that. Keep an eye on that. Expect the unexpected, because Bitcoin and cryptocurrency is a very volatile asset class and anything can happen at any time. So just be wary about that. So let's just take a look at the Crypto Ethereum Greed Index. You can see that Bitcoin spent the majority of 2023 and the beginning of 2024 in that greed area between 50 and 70. Comparing it to the move of 2019, where it's eerily similar, where in the pre-halving year, Bitcoin had a price move of 4x in the first half of the pre-halving year. But that happened so explosively, so quickly, to the point where the Crypto Ethereum Greed Index essentially went up and then down straight away. If we compare it to this cycle, you can see that we spent a longer amount of time in that greed level. Even though we did not reach that 90 level of crypto greed. With that being said, if you were to apply a moving average, it would sort of look the same, because we spent the majority of time between 50 and 70 in this cycle, whereas the last cycle it was just up and down straight away. So if you take a moving average, it would look very similar. If we take a look at Bitcoin returns in past history, what can we expect for 2024? Well, 2024 is the halving year and is notoriously known to spark the bull run for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency asset class. I am very wary though, because normally in the pre-halving years, Bitcoin goes up for 6 months of the year and goes down for 6 months of the year. Half the year is up and half the year is down. To verify this, if we take a look at 2019, you can see that 6 months were green and 6 months were red. As so, if we take a look at 2015, you can see that 5 months were green and 7 months were red. So typically speaking, I know in 2011 as well, it was 6 and 6. So realistically speaking, in the pre-halving years, we go up for half the year and we go down for half the year. Whereas in this pre-halving year, Bitcoin price was green for 9 out of the 12 months, and it is currently green for the both months of 2024. Bitcoin is currently having its 6th green monthly candle in a row. The last time it done so was between 2020 and 2021. That is the only time. And then it was followed by 3 red candles. So do I believe that Bitcoin could put in all-time highs by the end of this year? I do believe so, because in every pre-halving year, Bitcoin does sort of put in an all-time high towards the end of the year. But do I believe that Bitcoin could have a large correction in the middle of the year for the markets to essentially catch up, because Bitcoin has been bullish since the beginning of 2023? Yes, most definitely, and most definitely in Q3. Q3 does not favor Bitcoin, the summer months, because everyone likes to go on holidays, touch some grass, not look at the charts. No one wants to spend money on Bitcoin because they're too busy spending money on holidays. If we take a look at quarterly returns, you can see that Q3 does not favor Bitcoin when it comes to price action. So something could happen in Q3 of 2024 where Bitcoin has a large correction. I do have that gut feeling inside. I don't think it's just going to be up only from here. I'm just preparing myself for a situation that I can take advantage of if it does occur, and I believe that you guys should have that same mindset just in case, because you never know with this asset class, guys. If we take a look at last cycle, no one knew from the pandemic that Bitcoin was going to drop over 60% in just a matter of weeks, and it happened. So if you was one of those people that had some red flags in the back of their mind and were weary with the economic conditions, you would have had some cash on the side and you would have taken advantage of this lovely dip, where most, or pretty much 99% of altcoins putting a new low. Not Bitcoin though, but even with Bitcoin it was around a 20x return. But for some altcoins, from this point to the peak of the bull run, you had some lovely 100x altcoins right there. So I believe it's always good to have some cash on hand in some parts of 2024, but I do believe in 2025 Bitcoin will fly through the roof and we will go through this parabolic mania phase that everyone is looking for. That's just my ideology of Bitcoin. That's what I believe is likely to happen. I've given my thoughts on the short term, I've given my thoughts on the medium term and in the long term, so just take what I say with a pinch of salt. Just understand what I'm trying to say. Understand that we could be bullish, but at the same time we could be bearish. Again, this is a market and anything can happen. No one has a crystal ball. I'm not here to tell you exactly what is going to happen. I'm just here to prepare you of what can happen and giving you the signals to confirm if that will happen or not. So that's it from me today, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And as always, it's been your boy, J1 General. Thank you and goodbye.